tonight, the Ghana Airports Company has officially terminated its contract with Evertex Logistics Limited. This decision comes amid ongoing investigation by the Office of the Special Prosecutor into the circumstances surrounding the award of a revenue assurance contract to Evertex. The probe specifically examines the role of Paul Adom-Otchere, the former board chair of the Ghana Airports Company, in the contracts award. We'll bring you the latest shortly on that, but let's take a listen to the Special Prosecutor, Kisi Ejabing, on Mr. Otchere's failure to provide a landed property.
In this institution, and as required by law, we do not use bail to punish individuals. No. Indeed, when we go to court, when we charge people when we go to court, we don't oppose bail. Director of Prosecution, have we ever opposed bail? Last week, Wednesday, I did an arraignment in respect of the MPA matter. When it got to bail, I just got up and told her ladyship that we are not opposed to bail, so we are leaving it in her charge. We don't oppose bail. We do not use bail to punish individuals in this office. What we do is just to secure by law your attendance in respect of the investigations, and if we are minded to take you to court, if we think we have the requisite evidence. So here, when you are, and this is to the general public, when you are invited, it's not an invitation. When you are directed to come here as a suspect, mind you, you have to post bail. And that is why in the direction, the communication directing you, we tell you that you may come along with counsel of your choice. Immediately you go for counsel of your choice. The person, by his or her training as counsel, knows that if you are being directed to show up as a suspect, you would be required to post bail. So if you are not directed to show up as a suspect, but invited to come as a person of interest, that is a different kettle of fish. And sometimes you also be invited as a potential witness. That is a different kettle of fish. And sometimes as an informant or a confidential source. That's a different kettle of fish. So look closely at the correspondence, what is contained there. If it is titled Direction to Attend the OSP, and it is stated in there that you are regarded as a suspect and you may come in with counsel of your choice, mind you, you need to post bail. Now when it comes to posting of bail, now members, you crafted and passed Act 959 and LI 2374 and 2373. You would notice that the focus of the OSP regime is based on you will notice that the focus of the OSP regime is 90% geared towards prevention and recovery. Yeah. So that is why I alluded to this point earlier, that our plea bargain system is more benign than the general one. Indeed, you can come and offer us info, and just by offering us info that there's this thing going on here which will lead to serious recovery, the law says the special prosecutor can accept that and let you go, just by giving that credible info, or to offer to pay this amount of money, and if it's acceptable to us and the court, we let you go.
Well, let's bring you the latest on Paul Adom-Otchere. My colleague Michael Ashali joins me in the studio with details. We have an update on his detention at the OSP. What do we know?
So, firstly, we know that about a few hours ago, there was a message from his lawyers and his company, people around him, who tell us that he's been set free only because of some variation in the bail terms that has been provided for him. We know that if you take this back 24 hours ago, when he was arrested, the statement from the OSP said that he had to provide 2 sureties or 2 landed properties of any value. It means that that landed property could even cost 1 cedi and would help him check this particular bail condition. So as of 24 hours ago, he was supposed to provide 2 landed properties of no specific value, but had to be in his name. And from that statement again from the OSP, we know that the response from Paul Adom-Otchere was that he did not have any such property in his name in the country at the moment. So he could not provide that or could not meet the bail term. So he was then under arrest and was still under detention. But just a few hours ago, we just heard that that bail terms had been revised. We are told that based on this revision, he's now met it, and that Jospon Group, which you also know that runs Metro Ghana, Metro TV, is the one that is now standing surety for Paul Adom-Otchere to meet this particular bail term. So the initial one, he does it now. We don't know what exactly is the fine details in there, but we know that the original terms has been changed, for which he's now been able to meet it and has been allowed to go home.
But the subject of this controversy really is that contract between Evertex and the Ghana Airports Company. We know that there's an update to that contract in itself. Let's go into the clause that permits the Ghana Airports Company to, first of all, even terminate that contract.
So, Faustina, if you go to page number 7 of the contract they originally signed, and this contract was signed in the first week of December 2024, and on page 7, clause number A says on that, which specific details out on termination specifically. It says that clause number A says that both parties, which is Evertex or Ghana Airports Company Limited, could terminate the arrangement that or the contract they are entering into. But the only thing is that you have to give me 1 month notice. And that's exactly what is stated in that particular clause. And
that contract, we know, has been terminated. They've triggered this clause.
Yes, so as part of the exclusive documents that Joyce is privy to, we know that the company, as at 28th of July 2025, they had written to Evertex to discontinue this particular contract that they have with them. And if you look at that letter, it only makes a reference to the specific specific termination clause, which is in page number 7, clause A of the original contract, which says
that is behind you.
Yes,
they just took it off right now.
Yes, so this particular, so 28th of July, that's when the airport company wrote to Evertex, and you can see that addressed to the chief executive officer, and it tells you that we'll wish to bring to your notice that this agreement, pursuant to the termination clause A of the agreement, which states as follows, that a party may terminate this agreement. It goes on to say that we only have to give you 1 month prior written notice, which is exactly what is staring at you at the moment. And that is what has been sent to Evertex. And we understand that they've been given until the 27th of August 2025 to actually, in their terms, demobilize and leave the premises of Kotoka International Airport. So as it stands now, that contract does not exist between these two companies, but we don't know the final details for which they have taken this decision. We know that the original contract meant that Evertex was supposed to do some revenue assurance, after which every month, if they manage to bring in more money than originally expected, they'll be given 15% of that amount. But exactly, again, we don't know why they have decided to terminate this contract.
Thank you, Michael Ashadi. Just giving us a breakdown. Paul Adom-Otchere has been able to meet the bail conditions set to him by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And thankfully, I have his lawyer, one of his lawyers, because he has a legal team, join us here on Joy News Prime. His name is Lenin Ananieje. We appreciate your time here on Joy News Prime. First of all, we picked information that your client was initially released and then invited once again by the OSP. What happened during that period?
A very good evening to your viewers this evening, Mamiesi, and thank you for having me. So, after meeting the bail conditions, the OSP had indicated that it was unable to release Mr. Adom-Otchere on his premises. And so his lawyers should indicate at their pleasure where they want him released. And so the former Attorney General, Mr. Dame, indicated he had no objection to him being released at his office at Cantonments, Dame and Partners. So the team, that is the lawyers, together with the security personnel, with Mr. Adom-Otchere in their custody, set off to Cantonments, only for them to indicate that they had received a call to return back to the premises of the Special Prosecutor. And so they went, no explanation was offered to us, but after about 2 hours there, they set off again to Mr. Dame's office where they released Mr. Adom-Otchere.
Interesting. Now, what exactly was your client subjected to when he was in custody with the OSP?
So, after his detention last night, we did not have access to him until much later today when he came. And so I'm unable to provide the specifics of what may have transpired while in his detention. What I can say, however, is that Mr. Adom-Otchere, as you know him, is a man of conviction and is very lively. And so today when we met him, amidst all the things he's been through since last night, he was still in good spirits. And in the coming days, I'm sure you would see him speak to these matters.
And we know that the bail conditions were revised before you were able to meet them. Tell us the new conditions set.
So today, the condition that was set by the OSP after conversations with us was that the Mr. Adom-Otchere should provide one third-party surety with any landed property. And so this time, the properties were not required to be in his name, neither were the people required to be public servants, one of whom should not be less than the rank of a principal. And further to that, the OSP again agreed that because he works with Metro TV, a corporate guarantee would be acceptable. And so the Jospon group of companies stood as surety, and then the group provided a property in the name of one of its subsidiaries. But the happenings today for us vindicate our position yesterday that the OSP really had no justification in setting the bail conditions that it did. Because if one surety with a landed property is acceptable to them to secure Mr. Adom-Otchere's attendance, then why couldn't that have been done yesterday? Why the insistence that at all costs they had to provide landed property in his name, else remain in detention? And so we feel very vindicated in our position yesterday that that condition that was said was unreasonable and was without basis when you look at the circumstances.
And then moving forward, really, we know that that contract between Evertex and the Ghana Airport Company has been terminated. What then will be the fate of this case before the OSP?
It is left for the OSP to determine. But it is for this exact reason that our constitution presumes every accused person innocent until proven guilty. Because it may turn out that investigations may reveal that no wrongdoing has been done. And it is why persons who hold prosecutorial powers and discretion in exercising that power must balance the interest of the accused persons against the investigations they are doing. It is why you do not treat accused persons or suspects as convicted persons, because so long as they have not been convicted by a court of competent jurisdiction, they remain like every other Ghanaian individual whose rights and liberties must be respected and must not be unnecessarily restrained, as happened yesterday. But
currently, what charges are before your client?
For the record, Mr. Adom-Otchere has not been charged with any offense known to our criminal laws. He has been cautioned and informed that an investigation is being conducted into possible suspected offenses, including breach of procurement rules, the use of public office for private gain, and then also the last one being corruption and corruption-related offenses. But in all of these, there has been no specific allegation or mention of what conduct of his is deemed to have been the corruption and corruption-related activity, or what gain he's alleged to have gotten from this particular transaction, or any of those. The OSP as itself indicates the matters are still in investigation, and so we live to see what the conclusion of those investigations will be and whether it would ground a possible offense capable of being proven beyond reasonable doubt as required by our criminal procedure laws.
Thank you so much, Counsel, for your time.